Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to our newest game, Tyranny. So Paradox has very graciously allowed me to have some early access to this game. It's only a few days before, but regardless, I'm very excited. This is a game I've never really played any like RPG games at all. But this is something, you know, I've been keeping up to date with it and things like that, and it just really seems like a really cool game, a really cool scenario where evil has like officially won. Like, you're always fighting evil, but now you are the evil person, not necessarily, but it is a very exciting game. Thank you, Paradox, for allowing me to have early access to this. I will also say, since this is a very story-driven game, there will be spoilers. If you watch this, be prepared to know how it goes. I know that sounds dumb, but it is something you have to mention because people will get all hurt about it and stuff, and it just saves Paradox, it saves me to say, hey, there's gonna be spoilers in here. I can only go to a certain point. If we reach it this episode, I very highly doubt I will, but before the official release, I only have a certain point that I can get to. We'll know what it is if we get there, but yeah, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. There will be spoilers in this game. I'll say it one more time. Spoilers. So, we're going to start a new game. I have played just a tiny bit into this, not into the actual game, and I'll kind of explain that here in a minute. But we are going to start a new one. See, I can even continue it. New game. So, we have new game settings. Story mode difficulty requires minimal micromanagement and easily forgives mistakes. My mic cut out. It forgives mistakes in combats. Enemies receive a penalty to most stats, yada yada yada. This is basically, if you want only the story mode, do this mode, and it'll be really easy for you, but you'll still get that in-depth story. We're going to go with normal difficulty. I've never played isometric RPGs. I've never played Pillars of Eternity. Expert mode, I'm not going to do this. And then Trials of Iron, not even going to worry about it. We're going to stick with normal. Just going to keep it piece of cake. And while we wait for this to load, I will say the game, not even the actual like gameplay world, everything that I did, and I played it for like, I don't know, maybe like half an hour or so, is just absolutely gorgeous. This game looks beautiful, and I cannot wait to really dive into the game and into the world and really just liven up the story. It's just, I'm very, very excited for this, but it needs to load faster. Since this is my first RPG game that I'm playing, especially for my YouTube channel, if you guys see things that I miss, please let me know. I will take any and all advice on how to build stuff, and I'm shutting up because intro movie.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tunon brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Alright, so epic intro. It kind of gives you the backdrop on everything that's going on. And here is one of the coolest parts that I like about this game. We have our our custom characterization. So I did kind of go through this and played around with it a little bit before, like I said. So I kind of know what I want to do, but we're going to roll through it anyway. So of course we can be male or female. I'm going to be male. I like being tall and slender because I'm not. And then I'm kind of more of a fair-skinned kind of dude. So a role in the Northern Empire where you were born, men enjoy equal protections and the laws of the Overlord Kairos. In the southern lands of the tiers, only men may own or captain ships, but real estate is restricted to women. Men may lease, but durable ownership of the land in the tiers is always passes to the eldest daughters or sister. We've kind of seen these in kind of fantasy settings. There's even, those kind of cultures where the women are the landowners. That's kind of seen a trend just generally with the fantasy thing, so it's kind of cool, kind of rolls with it. Most sons enter their father's profession by their mid-teens. Those without a profession or family lands to work can find purpose by pledging service to one of the Overlord's mighty archons. Criminals, derelicts, and others are often conscripted into the armies of the archons. If a child cannot forge his own skein, he'll certainly find one in battle. Oh man, sweet. So it looks like it's even updated from when I played it. That's really cool. So we can select our face and hair. Ooh. There we go. What kind of hair do we want to have? There's a lot of customized options. I like it. How do I look cool without... We're going to go bald, but I will have a beard. Ooh, that looks cool. I'm going to go with this one. No, more of the full one. Should I go with that, or should I go... No, I'm going to go with the full beard. There we go. Hair color. We're going to white now. I don't even want red. Should I go with white? I feel like I should go with white.
That wasn't so hard.
Male aggressive. Male sneaky.
I'm injured, tired. Let's rest. Curious.
Curious. I could have a male with a female sneaky voice. That's awesome. We're gonna go male sneaky. And then what is this? Ooh, tattoos. Oh snap! This is cool. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with this one because I am gonna go a little more mage-esque, and I think that would be really cool to have. Blue and blue. That's more purple. Do we have a blue? That's a little more purple too. What if we went green and black? Ooh, that looks really nice. I like that. Okay, and then we got to choose our portrait. What most reflects? Kind of wish we had a portrait that matched our dude. Not that dude. He's goofy looking. Let's go with... We'll go with that guy because I am going to be kind of a mage. Oh, I just gave it away. Dang it. That's alright. I do kind of want to be a mage. That kind of deal. So I think it'd be really cool. We need our portrait to kind of reflect that. And we may just be gray and red. Black and red. There we go. Alright, next. So, how did you join Kairos' army? This is our origin story. So we're really building up our hero from the ground up, which is very common in these kinds of things. But I really, really like how in-depth it gets here. So you are fatebinder, agents of the Archon of Justice. You are by no means free, but as a warrior, scholar, deputized, with directionary powers to intercept and execute the laws of the Overlord Kairos, you are freer than... One does not apply to be a fatebinder. One is called by Tunon, the Archon of Justice, and to decline is death. Millions of men and women live in the dozens of realms ruled by the Overlord. How did you stand out from amongst this teeming mass of desperation and insignificance and gain the Archon's notice? So this is just lays out everything that you did. This is your backstory. So Noble Scion, when your parents came under the accusation of sedition, you were sent to the court of Tunon, yada yada yada. Diplomat, we're going to go with War Mage because I really want to be a mage with this one. I kind of like that style of man, of character. So few have the combination of wits and courage to be accomplished casters and warriors, and those cursed with such combination of talents are invariably pulled from their mundane lives and assigned to the armies of the Archons. Your earliest memories are a painful slog of training, study, lecture, and exhaustion, all the elements of being groomed for battle. You knew better than to ask what became of your family, nor to question the missive allegedly penned by their hand that they were part of the earliest lessons in reading. When you reach adulthood, Tunon the Adjudicator, yeah, that's right, Adjudicator, came to the barracks and laid claim to your life. Seeing you as too valuable for the crucible of battle, the Archon deemed your life better spent, dedicated to the art of punitive legal remedies. Though you had much to learn in matters of civil discourse, none could deny your bright future as Tunon's next great enforcer. So, our primary expertise. We have sword and shield, great sword, yada yada yada, dual wielding, which is pretty cool, unarmed attack, frost spells, atrophy. So I kind of like frost and shock. Shock, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of torn between both because shock spells do damage as well as interrupt the enemies, preventing them from executing their attacks. Frost spells, it's an offensive school, focuses on slowing enemies as well as dealing cold. Shock does more versus endurance. Damage does, or frost does 8 to 12 versus magic. So it's like, what do you want to do? You know, is it really worth it? Now that's cool looking. He is really cool looking. And then it just gives you, right click for details, just kind of control frost, higher skill value, increase the chance of hits and criticals, etc., etc. I wonder if it will change based on what I select. It will change, but that's just because, oh, that looks cool. Sword and shield. I really do like the short bow. It does look cool, and you have a really cool looking thing, but I'm not going to do that. So, our primary expertise. We're going to go shock. We have, we learn this ability, charged first, 10 to 15 damage versus endurance. Channel an explosive surge of electrical energy at releasing it all at once a nearby enemy, interrupting them and sending them flying back. Now, I will also say, there could be things that could change. It says early access. As I said, they are patching it like daily. Like this stuff, a couple of things I've already done were not in here before. So it will make a difference. Things might change beforehand. Hopefully nothing that changes the save. But just to let you know, there will be things that could change. Your typical early access stuff applies. So what's cool is we get a secondary expertise. So technically, I could be a shock spell mage that also carries around a war mace. Or I could be dual wielding with kind of a staff and mace, maybe, you know, kind of a deal. Focus on unarmed attack. But what I think I might do, let's see, short bow. What does short bow get me? Magic staff determines the effectiveness of attacks using a magic staff. Higher skills lead to more accurate attacks, increasing the chance of critical strikes. Accuracy of magical attacks is determined by both the magical staff skill and the magical skill used by the equipped staff. So that's cool. That's weird. I wonder if that's true. So if we did shock spell, I don't know if that would be really that effective. It might be, but I think what we're going to do... Valid weapons, bows and thrown weapons, hobble. Because here's what I'm thinking. I become a mage, and then, so I don't use up all of my magic, because again, I don't really know how it works. I find something that's not magic-based, and I do that. Does that make sense? So I guess here, if I went spear... Is this gonna change? I don't think it does. Okay. So never mind. But unarmed attacks would be pretty cool. But I do think I may go short bow. That way I can switch, shoot him with the bow, and then go in with a shock spell. Or I could deal with the magic needs. I don't even know if you have like a pool or anything. But we could go with something that does worse to our enemies or helps our allies. Atrophy magic drains the skills and attributes of your enemies, weakening their attacks and making them easy to kill. Or we could go Vigor. It utilizes the branch of magic that focuses on granting bonuses to yourself and your allies. So it's just like, in which case we'd get Titan's Touch, which means we get +2 Vitality and Might for 45 seconds. Range is 2 meters. This, -3 Might, -3 Vitality. So it's just an interesting kind of cool things. You guys can mess with it around as much as you want to, obviously. I think I may go Atrophy. Atrophy, whatever it is. Because I feel like that would almost be better than buffing my own troops, because it's more of a buff, or a debuff for the enemy. And I guess that's just versus magic. Oh, that's something else to think about. Interesting. Let's go with short bow. I'm going to do it. Why not? So we can choose either Heart Shot, delay your aim to focus on hitting the target's heart, gain additional accuracy for this attack and leave the target bleeding, target your enemy's feet with a ranged attack, hobbling them if successful, which would obviously slow them down. That's interesting. I don't know, man. We may go Vigor. Because that touch of atrophy only happens versus magic. I kind of want to do stuff that just works against everyone. Right? That is a huge war mace. This is really interesting. I kind of want to do... I just don't know. Let's go short bow. I'll just do short bow. We're going to go with a Heart Shot. We're just going to do it. It's a weird mix, but that's pretty much what I did in Elder Scrolls anyways. I was always a mage that also used the bow, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Now, we have banners and customization, so there's a lot of portraits that we can use, things of that nature. I want to go something that's a little kind of archaic, kind of mage-like, a little bit of runes, that kind of deal. So let's see if we can't find something. That or that. Let's go with that one. Let's be bright red. I don't want to be white. Let's go blue, maybe? Nah, we'll go like that because that looks real. That matches our guy. Character colors. Yeah, we'll do that. So kind of a evil kind of do. Enter name. Havoc. What's up? Oh. Invalid name entered contains a term that is forbidden. I wonder what that's about. What about H for Havoc? How about if I did... Oh, I wish I could do special letters. That'd be cool. What about this? Or should I do... There we go. Havoc! Alright, so here's our attribute. Might determines physical strength. Finesse describes physical and mental precision, which increases accuracy and armor deflection. Quickness is how often a character can use their abilities. And spells in combat, which is good. Vitality is physical health. Wits, mental acuity, to observe their environment and pick up on clues. It's also good spell strength. And then resolve is a lot. Ability to endure physical and mental challenges. So we only have 8. I'm not so crazy about might right now. I'm going to use my allies to do that. Accuracy and armor deflection. Attacks and spells. We could bump that up. Quickness. We're going to bump up twice. Get -6% cooldown. Vitality. We'll just do 1. Wits. Well, finesse also... No, which one is it? Is it vitality? No. Here we go. Pick up on clues. We'll do that. Plus 10% strength. And then resolve. There we go. Ooh, weapon skills. Okay. So, we got all of our weapons. Now, we do have bow and magic staff. We have our magic skills. And then we have our support skills. Dodge, lore, parry, subterfuge, athletics. We have 20 of these points. I'm not crazy about any of these. I will dump a few into bows and magic staffs. Control lightning determines a character's ability to draw and control spells that use the sigil of lightning. We'll bump that up to 35. Dodge against ranged attacks. And we'll give it a couple of points. Lore determines a character's ability to decipher information and put together clues from fragments of information. Skill is critical for magic users who wish to learn new runes to power their spells. Lore is also used in dialogue to determine what you know about the history of the world or to impress others with your intelligence. We'll go ahead and give 3 points to that. Subterfuge, to move unseen through their environment. I like that. And then we'll actually do athletics. It determines a character's ability to traverse difficult terrain, as well as their ability to execute complicated moves in combat. It's used in dialogue to determine your ability to intimidate or physically overpower someone. We'll go ahead and dump the rest into that. That seems like a... kidding. We will dump into magic staff. Okay. Now, this is the coolest part that I've found so far. We can continue through Conquest, or we can Quick Start. Quick Start bypasses the Conquest phase of character creation. You'll select from a list of templates for how your character was involved in Kairos' conquest of the tiers. This will affect the starting state of the game, or we can go through Conquest. I'm going to spend some time on this, and this may be all we get through. I'm going to be honest because it is quite complicated. Selecting the Conquest option will allow you to play through Kairos' conquest of the tiers, choosing how your character was involved in the invasion. This gives you the most control over the starting state of the game and how other factions will react to your character. I want to do this. I really 100% want to do this. So it'll be really, really cool. I'm very excited. Very, very excited to do this. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. Now I have played this, so I know kind of the decisions.
All the world has fallen to Kairos.
But I still think it'll be fun to go
Overlord's
through it. I
eye
may
is
make
on
some
the
different
tiers,
ones. You just never know.
Our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Is it going to automatically, or do I hit space?
In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tiersmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the tiers sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Sweet. So, Conquest. During the Conquest, you will decide your character's action during Kairos' invasion of the tiers, shaping the world through which you adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. This just right here, and then this is as far as I got when I played earlier. It's just gorgeous. It's really cool. It's very, very well thought out. I am very much enjoying how good this game looks, and we haven't even gotten into the actual world yet. So let's dive on in. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the tiers, built upon a natural harbor. At the crossroad between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the tiers, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' army. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the tiers. Kairos' will is insurmountable. So, to start off with, there are 3 tiers of decisions we have to make before the city falls. However it falls depends on the decisions we make. So, we have 2 tokens. We can infiltrate the tiers. Both armies send their forces to prepare the way, or we can do the Gates of Judgment. In the first major engagement of the war, Kairos' armies cross the mountains and establish a foothold. We're going to read through all of them. It may take some time, but I think it'll be worth it. So, we're going to go with infiltrate the tiers. As mentioned earlier, we have 2 factions. We have the Disfavored, and we have the Scarlet Course. The Disfavored is the elite army. The Scarlet Course is kind of just a hodgepodge of just barbaric kind of take what you want when you want it kind of a deal. So, we are going to infiltrate the tiers. History would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of Conquest, but the real combat unfolded with the advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and the Scarlet Course each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? You will always have the choice. Actually, I think occasionally there's a third choice, but you will always have to choose between the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus. Both have some kind of advantages depending on how you want to play, but it is also crucial to keep in mind your decisions affect the future. If you always choose the disfavored, the Scarlet Course is not going to like you, which isn't good because they are extremely huge. If you always choose the Scarlet Course, the disfavored are not going to like you. And that's bad because they are the elite army. They've never seen a true loss in battle. So we kind of have to go between the two, figure out who really gives the greatest advantage, and then choose them. So, if we choose the disfavored, you lent your skills to the elite disfavored scouts to capture a border garrison. Graven Ash insisted that an early victory in the offensive would boost the morale of his troops and diminish the haughty overconfidence of the Scarlet Chorus. You joined the Scarlet Chorus as they raided villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man and woman to the army. The voices of Nerat, which if you hover over, known as the official capacity as the Archon of Secrets, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. The subjects of his interrogation are never heard from, and the Archon is able to recall the memories of his victims with startling accuracy. So, you always, if you're ever in doubt, always hover over anything that's highlighted. It'll work. The voices of Nerat emphasize the rewards of conscription and enslavement over wanton bloodshed. Apparently, his soldiers needed the reminder. So, we could choose to infiltrate the tiers through these guys, or we could choose the Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the tiers. The two armies brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. So this is a little more the barbaric way. We are literally just assaulting the Gates of Judgment into the city, and that's it. That's just what we did. So if we chose this way, went with the disfavored, standing shield to shield with Kairos' ironclad elite, you advanced on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the bastard city. The Legion wanted to send a message to the tiers that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. Whereas if we went with the Scarlet Course, much shorter description, you rushed with a chaotic mass of Scarlet Course, flanked the bastard city's army, and drove them. Personally, since I'm kind of the mage, the sneakier type, the kind of in the background, I want to go and infiltrate the tiers. I do want to go with the disfavored more because capturing a border garrison versus just slaughtering everyone and conscripting everyone, this is more of my discreet way. Kind of sends them a definitive message without killing too many people. So we're going to hit that. We infiltrated the tiers. The Oathbound scouts identified a modest border defense and collaborated on an organized attack that would leave the enemy uncoordinated and cut them off from aid. You oversaw the preparations and offered your opinions on the strategy when the clashing of swords and spears filled the silence, followed by the cheering of disfavored scouts. You were the least surprised. Tier 2. Inside Agent or Containing the Fire. We're going to go with Inside Agent. With a border garrison captured by your disfavored allies, you traveled ahead of Kairos' army and lurked in the shadows of the bastard city. You decided that converting one of the loyals to Kairos' side would help bring the city to its knees. After all, corruption starts from within. If we go with the disfavored, you enlisted a bitter captain of the guard to sell military secrets to the disfavored. Better that Kairos' forces march under their next inevitable victory, well informed. With the Scarlet Course, you came to an arrangement with a well-connected smuggler who knew how to sneak agents of the Scarlet Course behind the city walls. The Scarlet Course were better operatives than soldiers, and this work required a subtle touch. We go over here. Containing the Fire, your fiercest opponents in Bastard City were the mages of the School of Wild Wrath. Too barbaric to use their power responsibly, the unbridled practitioners, I'm going to go with practitioners, needed to be stopped. How did you trick the hot-tempered mages into their own undoing? If we went with the disfavored, you lured the hot-headed mages into an ambush, where the Legion of Disfavored waited to spring the trap. The soldiers were hungry for a chance to subdue the arcane branch of the tier's resistance. Or we go with the chorus, and you tricked the guild elders into meeting with the voices of Nerat, Archon of Secrets. The Archon was notorious for his cruel and mysterious interrogation techniques. The mages were never seen again. Infiltrating the city with an inside agent is much more subtle, and we're actually going to go with the Scarlet Course this time because they were better operatives than soldiers, and this work required a subtle touch. After accepting his deserved payment, the smuggler uncovered a long-forgotten tunnel that intersected the sewers of Bastard City. Armed with maps of the subterranean layout, your Scarlet Course allies fanned out to occupy various city districts under cover. They spent the ensuing weeks murdering key officials and sabotaging defenses wherever possible, weakening the tier's capital under the very nose of its leader. Your tactics of infiltration placed you in the Bastard City ahead of the main armies. Your work softened the city defenses for the arrival of Kairos' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies a meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? Here's where we get kind of three different choices instead of two. If we went with these guys, you challenged the commander of the Bastard City defenses to an honorable fight to the death. The disfavored wished to spare soldiers' lives for the battle ahead and civilian lives for occupation. This kind of seems the best way, the least amount of losses. You do the traditional fighting in battle, and we gain the ability Warrior's Respite. Stand your ground in the face of defeat. During this time, you will regenerate health rapidly, but your damage is significantly reduced. So minus 50% damage for 12 seconds, but plus 15 health for every 3 seconds for 12 seconds. So that's pretty cool. If we went with the Chorus, spreading the word of Kairos, you converted the poor and disaffected into a hidden army of the Scarlet Chorus. Once the dust settled, the army wished to bolster their troops with these sleeper cells. Searing Palm, 8 to 15 fire versus magic. Gathered heated energy into your hands and released it into a foe. This targeted knights in flames burning over time, which is pretty cool. Or you go the third option. Keeping to the shadows, you eliminated the leaders of the Bastard City one by one. We would then get the Concealing Shadows ability, which actually does a lot. 100% graze deflection, minus 100% accuracy, plus 200 dodge, and plus 200 parry. Create a cloud of obscuring shadows and dust for a short duration. Enemies that use physical attacks against you have a significantly increased chance to miss. During this time, your attacks will also be less effective. I think we're going to go with these guys. One-on-one in an honorable fight. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to win. And if we spare the lives for the battles of the soldiers, that gives the good against the disfavored. And then we can then occupy them with as many people left. Nice. The city marshal was an old but experienced fighter, and his value to the guard was an accepted truth. After making guarantees for your protection, you met in the square of the market district and fought in the view of the tense onlookers. The battle drew on longer than you thought possible. Good fortune struck when an ornamental chain hanging from the marshal's armor snagged the quillion of his sword, granting you the opportunity to end his life swiftly. Kairos' forces celebrated your return to camp and the dissolution of enemy morale. All agreed that the Bastard City was poised to crumble. Sweet! And there it crumbled. So that was year 1. In 428 TR, settled into a new state of normalcy with every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into 2 fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as a judge and overseer of the settlement of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realms of Apex. I want to stick, I don't want to be a judge and overseer. I'd rather be a war advisor, so we're going to go Apex. We are a war mage, by the way, so it just makes sense. So now we'll go into the year 2 of Kairos' conquest. This is just really, really cool. I'm really liking this. Apex. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queen of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Course had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kairos' law to the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Same situation. We can kind of just do it 2 different ways. The Battle of Edge Ring Pass. Well, I had a really hard time saying that. The disfavored sent their most destructive ally to crush Edge Ring Fort. Carring Arcana Stone buried the stronghold in an avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Course were promised captured enemies for recruitment, yet none survived the onslaught. The Course demanded compensation. So this is theoretical, of course. If we went with the disfavored, who sent the Arcana Stone, you congratulate the disfavored for taking the pass without risking the lives of Kairos' loyal servants. At this stage of the campaign, it was vital to use any advantage that would mitigate ally losses. However, if we go with the Scarlet Courses, you upheld the Scarlet Chorus's claim and demanded that the youngest disfavored scouts join the Course to settle the debt. That's interesting. That would really hurt them a lot more than just siding with them on another thing. Or the Denial of Strength. A school of water mages loyal to the Tiersmen posed a substantial threat. The disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus insisting on capturing the mages wishing to learn of their craft. If we sided with the disfavor, all mages had a chance to surrender, and trying to capture the enemy would lead to needless losses. If we did the chorus, you sided with the Scarlet Course, ordering the mage elders taken alive for interrogation. Now, I think it would be cool if this is a school of water mages. We should probably, like, we could potentially get something out of it. So I think capturing them for interrogation would be a good idea. I don't really like that war option too much for me. Though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Course praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders in school to the voices of Nerat's tent. As waves of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Course soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The disfavored joined to their camp and grimmed, silence claiming the Course lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy school. So again, I mean, these are evil choices that we're having to do, right? I mean, it would be different if Apex was like an evil kingdom and we're trying to eradicate them and they're the ones that are oppressing, but we are oppressing them. It's just a really cool, different way to do it. Alright, Tier 2, a captive captain, or poisoning the well. I'm going to go with poisoning the well because I don't like doing that, so we're going to go see what goes on first. Hoping to break the siege, Scarlet Course agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed disfavored scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the disfavored demanded the Course agents be turned over to them for punishment. You uphold the charges, ordering the Scarlet Course agents delivered to this favor. Justice would be served, but at the risk of seeding discontent between the two armies. Want to try not to do that. Or we denied the complaint. Tragedies happen in war, and the act was not targeted with intent at the disfavor. The reality was more honest than the satisfaction the disfavored so wanted. So that would be kind of a middle ground. The reality was more honest than the satisfaction they wanted. So it's like a kind of good, kind of bad. Or captive general. When Kairos' forces captured a celebrated enemy hero, the armies bickered over his fate. The disfavored wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kairos' mercy. The Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. Now you have to remember, we are trying to take over and subjugate this population. We don't want them to be really mad at us or super resentful. So that's kind of an idea here. You agreed with the disfavor's plan and sent the enemy captain back with a message. All those who surrendered or cooperated would be treated with deserving respect as subject to Kairos' peace. Or, you executed the captain and had his remains fashioned into a terrifying display. Fear was the Scarlet Course's most compelling weapon, and you knew that its impact would resonate across the Apex army. Gonna go here. Shocked by your clemency, the enemy captain vowed to deliver his message in full and paid his respects before departing for his encampment. Though typically more uncompromising, the disfavored praised your innovative thinking. The Scarlet Course despised what they viewed as resources wasted only to release a known enemy back into the wild. The fall of Apex. With the defeat of Apex and inevitability, the armies of Kairos met to discuss how to put an end to the stage of the Conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer of parley. Along with their acceptance, the enemy requested that you appear at the meeting. Word of your fair dealings had apparently spread to their ranks. Good thing. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? If we go with the disfavor, through days of meditation, you negotiated the surrender of Kairos' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Or, if we went with Chorus, taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen into a duel and slew her, frightening her vassals into submission. This definitely seems more like me, just in general, so we're going to go with that. Your former enemies were loath to part with their lands, but they were more reluctant to continue a war they were losing at every turn. The Tearsmen are a stubborn lot, and despite their grim situation, it still took days of discussion and diplomacy to show them the madness of tenacity. On the third day of meditation, the rules of Apex finally, submit to your terms of surrender, putting an end to the war in the valley and freeing up Kairos' forces to march deeper into the Tears. So Apex falls. Year 2. The land of Apex finally rested in the hand of Kairos' forces. The Scarlet Course paused to revel in victory while the disfavored prepare for their next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kairos' armies radiated out from the conquered citadel and worked their way across tiers. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus aimed to dominate as much territory as possible in the coming year. Your distinguished reputation in Kairos' military left the choice of your next destination yours to make. Very nice. Okay, so we have 3 areas we can choose. We can go to Stalwart, we can go to Wilhelm's Citadel, or we can go to Azure. Now, I don't really know how much of an effect it makes. But with its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Kairos' conquering gaze fell upon Willem's citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. Or Kairos dispatched the Arcana Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. We're going to go with Azure. Year 3 of Kairos' Conquest. I hope you guys enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. This is really cool. I've never been in such a story-driven game before, so it's really, really nice. The nation of Azure, one of the richest settlements of the tiers, sat on a verdant fertile plain. As the disfavored clashed with Azure's defenders, the Scarlet Course contended against the region's tribal beastmen, who protected their ancestral lands with incredible fury. Kairos dispatched the Archon Cairn to break the stalemate and force Azure into submission. The colossal man of stone and flesh arrived as instructed, but earning his cooperation was a tall order even for you. Alright, the destruction of Azure, or stalked by shadows. Interesting. We'll start with this one. The destruction of Azure. Karn, the Arcana Stone, carved a deadly path through Azure, using his powers to blight the land. The Scarlet Chorus complained that this tactic left no farmland to feed the growing army. Since Karn marched with the disfavored, the Scarlet Course held the legion responsible for the destruction and lost harvests. If we went with the disfavored, you rolled that the Arcana Stone may do as he wishes with the soil, being its natural master, and instructed the Scarlet Course to better control their numbers and plans better for lean seasons. If we went with these guys, you ordered Karn's disciples, the disfavored Earthshakers, to use their magic to repair the arable land destroyed by the Arcana Stone. That seems really cool. Let's go here. Stalked by shadows. After a roaming pack of beastmen slaughtered a disfavored patrol, the Scarlet Course responded by laying claim to the beast for their army, while the disfavored readied a company to enact vengeance. The disfavored legion considered the beast beyond taming, and the butchers of their northern brethren needed to be brought to justice. You denied the Scarlet Course's spurious claims and authorized the disfavored to enact proper vengeance. Or we denied the disfavored, and the beastmen joined the chorus. So I'm going to go here. We're actually going to order Karn's disciples, the disfavored Earthshakers, to use their power to repair it. Mainly because we have to think into the future. I don't know what effects. This is a huge tract of land, making it not usable. I'm going to make it usable. At Karn's rate of destruction, the lands of Azure would soon be unable to sustain crops. But Kairos wanted a conquered land, as I just said, not a barren wasteland. Amen. The Scarlet Course voiced these concerns, and you backed them, going so far as to enlist disfavored mages for aid. Though loath to pause their studies and focus on agriculture, the mages grudgingly ascended and traveled to the rear guard, working to heal the land as they went. Awesome. Very well done. Karn's madness, or forced into the fray. The Scarlet Course forced disfavored mages to fight in their battle. When Archon turned traitor, who would bring him to justice? Ooh, we're going to save that for last. The Archon of Stone went missing during the campaign. As disfavored mages busied themselves with the search for Karn, the Scarlet Chorus forced mages into combat against their will, during which 2 were slain. Furious at the waste of trained specialists, the disfavored demanded that the Scarlet Chorus be punished. The disfavored demanded that you liberate the captive mages, and had those who were forced in battle made their slaves. Or, you ruled the demands of war, allowed the Scarlet Chorus to appropriate military resources when they were available. Forcing isn't my deal, even though I may have to. Okay. The Archon of Stone refused to join the war camp, loudly denying Kairos' claim over Azure. Nothing less than a full unit of soldiers could subdue the treacherous Archon, yet neither army was willing to risk lives tracking him down. You delivered the order that sent Kairos' forces marching after Karn. When Karn brought them victory, the disfavored hailed him as one as their number. With Karn defied the will of the Overlord, it fell to the disfavored to track him down and get answers. That makes sense. But the Scarlet Chorus had the advantage in numbers and speed. You ordered them to deploy their numerous scouts to scour the countryside and find the alleged traitor. No! I will make the disfavored bend their knee to me to make them do that. Subduing a wayward Archon was a larger task than rank-and-file soldiers could manage on their own. The disfavored scouts returned to camp after a long journey, bearing news of irregular rock formations and beastmen chanting Karn's name. They found neither hide nor hair of the Archon of Stone, but his presence and impact on the Azure wilderness were evident. Unease spread through the army as Kairos' forces wondered what Karn's actions could mean. Not the best thing to happen to us. The Archon of Stone made a brazen declarations that Kairos had no claim to rule the tiers. Soon after, word arrived that Kairos would dispatch his rebellion minion with an edict. What is an edict? Kairos' most powerful magic is that of the Edict, common commandments cast upon whole regions that can control and destroy man and nature alike. Whoa! Once cast, an edict can rain fire, wither crops, demoralize cities, usher in endless night, or do whatever it is that Kairos envisioned. No known force, magical or mundane, can stop an edict. The disfavored took solace in knowing the edict was coming, and the commanders petitioned you to be the bearer of justice. Tunon selected you for the honor of proclaiming Kairos' Edict of Stone, a magical spell with the power to destroy the Archon. As they sensed his approaching doom, Karn began an assault on Plainsgate, the largest human settlement in the area. It fell to you to send Kairos' forces into a suicide mission to halt Karn's destruction while you completed the proclamation of the edict. So here's 3 chances again. Knowing there was little chance of survival, you ordered the disfavored to march against the Archon of Stone as he neared the city of Plainsgate. You hoped that the elite armies could delay Karn long enough for you to read the Overlord's edict. Believing there was a slight chance that their superior numbers could hold off the Archon of Stone, you sent the Scarlet Chorus to delay his march on Plainsgate. You hoped you'd have enough time to read Kars's edict, Kairos's, before Karn reached the city. Or, number 3, you believed the only chance of slowing Karn's assault was to commit the full force of Kairos' army against him. It was a desperate gamble. If you were wrong, there would be no one left alive to warn the other Archons of your failure. Still, you ordered both disfavored and Scarlet forces to march against the Archon while you read, I'm going to go with both. That way, if they both hate me or they both don't like me. The disfavored and Scarlet Course alike questioned the wisdom of this command. You were uncompromising. This approach was the only guarantee to halt the Archon's destruction. The disfavored's phalanx shattered under Karn's fury, and the Scarlet Mob was reduced to a smear underneath his foot. The city of Plainsgate suffered little damage at all as the armies kept Karn occupied, a small beacon of hope among them in the devastation. As you read the Edict of Stone, the earth under the battlefield groaned open, splitting up outcroppings of rock that obliterated the surrounding landscape for miles. When the land heaved open to take Karn, the Archon allowed it with serene acceptance. Probably not the best way we ended Azure. With the lands blighted and unrecognizable, the realm of Azure is left utterly ruined in the events of the war. In times to come, the Tears would call this blasted region the Stone Sea, for the treacherous rock formations and persistent quakes became the defining features. The Scarlet Chorus established a sprawling camp in the shattered rocky terrain and quickly absorbed those displaced by the upheaval of the land. These hapless refugees were put to work as slaves and soldiers, and the Chorus slowly built themselves a makeshift fortress in the blight quake-ridden realm. Your tour of duty in the broken lands of Azure was complete. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. We're going through all these regions. We may go a little over. Oh, okay, never mind. You have reached the end of Kairos' conquest. Do you want to continue or erase your progress and start over? We will continue. Sweet. Very nice. This is a gorgeous picture. The art in this game is just amazing. I am very, very pleased with it. It just looks really, really well done.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The 2 armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands.
Spacebar.
But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance, but months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
That's quite gross. There it goes, sealed behind us. Fatebinder Heineck, I presume. We've been expecting you. Okay, guys, so we are officially done with the first episode. So that's Tyranny, at least the beginning parts. You know, character customization, going through the Conquest, I think was crucially important to really setting up my story. Some of you may not do it, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's just whatever you want to do. But I think especially since this is my first intro into the RPG, I really want to dive into it and really just make it my own. Make it my story. So that's why I chose to do the Conquest of it. I wanted to make sure every part of my story was my choice, and that's pretty much how it was. So that's the end of the first episode. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, thank you Paradox and thank you Obsidian for allowing me to have a key to preview this build. Again, it comes out November 10th, and I will do some live streams on it. That way I can get your guys' input on decisions that I make and places I should go, things of that nature. And we will go through this, hopefully through the very end. I want to complete this game. I really want to dive into this RPG game, and I am incredibly thankful that I get to do it. And that's it. That's all I got. So look out for the next episode. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!